Grand Rising, good day, and good night. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to 144 from the stars, Tarot. Let's go ahead and give Odin a treat. There you are, sir. Thank you very much. The totem for this message is going to be a great white shark. I did have some word I was going to share with you all before we go ahead and get started. I'm going to be reading from the book of 1 Chronicles. I'm going to be reading from chapter 29. I'm going to start at verse 10 and I'm going to read through 13. Wherefore David blessed Yahuwah before all the assembly, and David said, Blessed be you, Yahuwah, Elohai of Yashar El, our Father, forever and ever. Yours, O Yahuwah, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty. For all that is in the heavens and in the earth is yours. Yours is the kingdom, O Yahuwah, and you are exalted as head above all. Both riches and honor come of you, and you reign over all. And in your hand is power and might, and in your hand it is to make great and to give strength to all. Now, therefore, our Elohim, we thank you and praise your glorious name. All right, let's go ahead. Let's just jump straight into Tarot. Let's see what Spirit would like you to know. We've got the Moon card. First card out is the Moon. All right, can we get another one out here? We've got the Universe. I feel like things are coming to the light so that way they can be left behind, or things are being revealed so that the cycle can be closed. Things are being healed so that way we don't have to repeat that pattern. I'm getting a lot of things are coming to the light. A lot of things are coming to the surface. Things are being released. Things are being healed. Things are being exposed. And we're wrapping up, it feels like a lot of cycles. We're wrapping up a lot of lessons, a lot of chapters. I feel like we're just putting a lot of things to rest. Okay. Wow. If we're just starting off with like all of these endings, all of these closures, all of this healing, all of this releasing, you're making a lot of room for some new things to come in your life. If you're clearing out this much, or this much is what's occurring in the collective, even if this isn't necessarily you specifically, this could just be the entire collective is kind of doing this, and it's making a lot of space for some new energy to come in. So I don't know, there might be like rapid ascension, like rapid mass ascension, rapid mass jumping of timelines, quantum shifting. Like I'm just getting like a huge change very quick, huge change to our world happening very fast. Okay, what else? Death in the Chariot. I saw that Death tried to hide itself. We got the Death card, we got the Chariot, we've got the Empress. Wow, that was powerful. It's like this transformation, after this transformation, there isn't any inhibitions, there isn't any lack, there isn't any blockage. It's like, okay. What's interesting is this this Empress energy coming out with the Chariot, and then we've got this Justice. And the way I felt it, the way it came after this death was like, after this ascension, after this transformation that is happening, once when this is complete, there's nothing that's going to hold you back. There's nothing that's going to hold you back. Okay. I'm almost getting like literally a vehicle with limitations. Like what I'm seeing, what Spirit is showing me is like a car, and you were given a car. Let's say someone in the collective was given a car. They were driving this car for quite some time. Now, let's say this car can go like 0 to light speed in an instant. It can. It has that capability. But Spirit done limited it, done nerfed the vehicle, put limitations on it to where, all right, we don't need to give the kid a 0 to light speed kind of vehicle their first time driving, okay? Your first car don't need to be a Ferrari. You just need a car to get you to point A to point B, right? And so it's like, we're going to give you this car, and it does have the power, the potential within it to go from 0 to light speed in a second. But we're going to put some limitations on it. You're only able to use this vehicle at like 5% of its full capacity, because that's what's safe for you and that's what's appropriate right now at your level of development. And maybe that was the humanity's experience of this human vehicle up till that point. And then now it's like, okay, we're going to take those limitations off. So I hope you're ready, because now when you press the gas, it's not just going to slowly build up and then we gain some speed, and then you touch that gas, it's going to fucking go. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever been in a vehicle that's high powered and it's just like you lightly touch it and it slams you back, or the whole front end will pop up. It's like that. It's like it is. We're going fast now. Like we got energy to this. So there's this energy of like, after this mass ascension, there's going to be like limitless possibilities of what the human can do. Like it's like there's no limitations. You can, like, before you were limited to 3D energy. Before you were limited to, I don't know, second gear on the car. Like you can only get it up to so high, and then you start getting overloaded because it starts running up them RPMs and you blow the motor. So, I mean, kind of similar to our bodies, right? Star seeds would tap into very high frequency energy, and because they haven't balanced out other things, would get burnout. Like they would burn out, they would crash, they would burn. Your nervous system would get overloaded by this energy because you were pushing yourself past the limit, not your limits, but the limitations that were already put on the body. But these limitations that were put on the body are being lifted. So now if that same starseed were to try to push themselves, they're not going to get burnout and crashed out. They're just going to, you're going to keep going. You can keep fucking running it. Like, I mean, pull the throttle back and let it go. Run it. So yeah, there's this energy of like, we have more available to us of our bodies. Our bodies are powerful. They're perfect. There's like at their fullest capability, they can do anything. So I'm getting this energy of before we were in this, like, you know, this little trial run. We were Spirit's baby, and it was our first time in this car, and Spirit was not about to let us go from 0 to light speed in a first instant. They wanted us to drive around in first, second, third gear, do some circles in the parking lot first, figure out how to use this body a little bit, get familiar with it. And then now we're going to allow you to access more of what this body can offer you. And this is like takeoff. I'm getting that there is a lot of physical changes to the body, a lot of changes to the body, and it's going to change a lot of things about our world. It's going to change a lot of how we do things, of what we do. Like even the things that we do is going to change because we have more available to do, or we can do things differently or more efficiently or more effectively, freely, without limitations or without as much work or effort or time. It's just like instant. So very fast manifestations on the way. All right. Advanced gifts and abilities on the way. Like I'm getting like, what is that movie called? I think is it Lucy or is it Limitless? It's one of those movies. Some of you already know where I'm headed. But basically, the theme of the movie was like, once when you unlock the full power of the brain, you could, with a thought, change the color of your eyes, or change your height, or your skin tone, or you could regulate your breathing. You could have supernatural abilities. You could, and I'm kind of getting that energy in this reading. That's kind of what I'm feeling. It's like we were limited to a percentage of the information and energetic capacity. So it was almost like as if we were limited to a lower processor. Like we weren't able to process at full capacity. Like our body can process like 144 dimension or density. Like this is reminding me of the download I got earlier that I wanted to share with you. So I'm glad that reminded me of it. What I saw earlier, and it so I shared in a recent video about something about someone's body crystallizing, and because it was crystallizing, you were becoming a better instrument to a certain energy that the divine was going to use through you, or you're going to be able to use through yourself. And I mentioned in that reading, I was talking about crystal tubes. Now, later on, actually at some point today, so it was after I already recorded that, I got a download a little further about that. And Spirit showed me the DNA strand, and they showed me 144 strands, but these strands were actually crystalline tubes. And there's something about that activating. Like we're activating a crystalline light body. There's strands of DNA that are activating and becoming available to us. So like, all right, let's say, for example, I had given you a laptop that had the ability to be a quantum processing unit. Like it could process at the quantum level. So the data processing speed is unmatched. You can't even like think about it. It's singularity at that point. But you're only able to use it up to like, I don't know, 2005 technology. Even though it's got the advanced future technology in it, I'm only allowing you to use that computer at the limited, like, I don't know, i5 core processing speed with like 8 gigabytes of RAM or some shit like that. Like nothing really fast. It has the potential to do a lot more than that, but you don't need that much computer. Now our bodies, we're activating more of that quantum processing. Like we're activating more of like we can, what I'm getting is our bodies are able, because the DNA is opening up and expanding and things are activating, new strands of DNA are becoming available to us, and we're able to utilize more of the spiritual technology that our body is. We're basically technology. Our body is a form of technology. I mean, just look at the definition of technology. You create something to solve a problem. That is what we are. We're the solution to a problem. Well, not a problem. Yeah, I guess a problem. I want to experience something, so now I need a way to experience it. Then I need to create a means of experiencing that. So that's pretty much what we are. So yeah, there's just something where we have more processing ability. We can process more light, more information faster, instantly, because we have more DNA available. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't have a vocabulary to translate this, but it's like going from less processing to more processing, and it's because of our DNA. We're able to handle more light, more information at the same time, and it's like we're able. It's almost like I think it's because like we're opening up to a higher density of awareness. So it's like, okay, at the beginning, you're aware of, the first density, then you get to the second density, then you get to the third density, and then you eventually get to a point where you embody all the previous and more and so forth, and you're able to process all of that occurs within that awareness simultaneously. Okay, so there's like limitations of the mind and limitations of the body that are being freed, that are being lifted. And it's about to be go time. And I'm kind of getting like, that's so funny. What Spirit is showing me is like a scene where the troubled kid is getting picked on the playground. Now everyone is picking on this kid because he's a little different, or she's a little different. This kid's just a little different. They're a little different. They don't fit in. They're a little odd. Okay. And because of that, everyone's fucking with them. Everyone's being a dick. Everyone's giving them a hard time, but they don't realize that this person has a gift that's going to activate later on in life, and it's going to change the world. And it's just like, there's this humor of like, you know, the struggles, the worries, the battle, the enemies, the cycles, the injustices that occurred before are not gonna fucking matter now because of who you are and what you can do. Like, I mean, it's just like, why would I trip over spilt milk when I can manifest an entire milk factory in my room if I wanted to? Like, there's no sense in getting and allowing it to bother you because you're ascended beyond it. So like, problems that were problems before aren't going to be problems now. So it's like, I don't know, maybe before you were getting bullied and you were getting picked on because you were smaller, you were skinnier, you were weaker, you didn't stand up for yourself, you were outnumbered, whatever. But now you got like some kind of supernatural ability, be done leveled the playing field. Now no one don't want to pick on you. Okay. I don't know. I hope that isn't actually quite literal, but I do kind of feel this energy of the game has changed. We don't flip the tables. The script has flipped. All right. Is there anything else that you would like to come through? The Fool is a brand new beginning. It's a brand new you. It's a brand new view. It's a brand new horizon, a brand new destination. It's just a whole, it's an upgraded experience. You know what this is reminding me of? And some of you might get a chuckle out of this. When I was younger, so I'm like a 90s kid. I'm in my mid 20s at the time. At this time, I'm in my mid 20s. And when I was younger, I used to play Pokemon. Now, at the time, it was on like the Game Boy. So it was like little 9-bit pixelated graphics. And, you know, that was like a period of my childhood. And then, you know, I became an adult and whatever. And I remember I was like, I was in my 20s and like one of the new Pokemons came out and it was like a Pokemon on the Switch. And I remember getting, and like I hadn't experienced any of the recent Pokemons. Like I remember the first gen, the second gen, and like that was about it. And then, you know, I grew out of it. But then I revisited it as an adult and like several generations had gone by and the technology had greatly improved. And I went from like remembering this little couple buttons and little pixelated thing to like a fully immersive world, and I'm seeing like 3-dimensional avatars of Pokemon. I'm like, okay, this is different. You know, like this is a lot cooler. This is more fun. Like I'm enjoying this. So I'm kind of getting like that same aspect, but with life. Like, you know, before we were working off of a lesser hardware. We were operating with less processing unit. We had less technology available to us. We had less energy available to us. But like, it's like, all right, you went from being like a little 9-bit game of Pong to being like a full immersive 3D reality. Like there's just a huge step in evolution, and it's actually occurring within our bodies. So like we are experiencing a richer, deeper, more clear experience, and it's because we have improved. Like we can process more light, we can process more information, so the image that would come through our minds, through our eyes, our cones, our retinas, is going to be a more vivid image than the mind could have possibly have produced in a lesser stage of development where it had less of its already instilled technology within it available to it. So before it was processing, just think of like pixels. When you increase the amount of pixels, you increase the resolution of the image. So it's like it's like we're living in a more HD experience. Like we have more to experience because we're aware of more, we're processing more of the universe that has always been within us and around us. We're aware of more of it, so we get to experience more of what we are. So it's like life is richer, life is deeper, life is clearer. There's an enhancement to life, and we're able to experience more than we would have before because we have a more advanced instrument or tool. We have more advanced piece of technology to interact with the experience itself, which is our body. Our body is that technology, and it is advancing. Okay. We've got the Fool, we've got the Moon at the bottom of the deck, and then we got the Magician. There are like gifts and abilities coming through. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even think, the the collective mind has really even been fully prepared, even with the subjective programming and other things. The silent disclosure that's came out in like movies and media and games and whatever else. There's been like a little silent disclosure. That's why a lot of people like a lot of things, because there's hints of truth in it. The God will reveal to us where we're headed. And I'm just getting like, I don't know. This is reminding me of how things were in Atlantis before the fall, where we could just do anything. Now, unfortunately, we just did it just because we could, and we didn't really question whether or not should we. But now, like, I sense a wisdom in the collective consciousness that we now understand. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Like, just because you can play with like antimatter and open up a black hole doesn't mean you fucking should do that. So I'm just kind of getting that energy of like, we're a little wiser now, like, and like more of what was turned off is turned back on again. And I'm getting this, like, I remember this feeling. I remember what it felt like to be like this. And it's reminding me of what it felt during like the peak of Atlantean times, where, we could do a lot with our bodies. We could do a lot with the energy. We were just able to do like pretty much anything we could imagine or think of. There really wasn't much limitation. Unfortunately, those things led to a fall, but that's not the point of this reading. It's just like, that's a reference point I have, feeling the energy in this reading. And that would be the easiest thing I can reference it to, would be during a time that we experience this ability, or these abilities would have been during like the peak of Atlantean times. So I'm getting like, we're able to revisit something, but we're able to revisit it a little wiser. So it's like, now we know how to respect it. So like, okay, let's use the vehicle analogy again. I put you on a, I don't know, a really fast motorcycle, and you're not very experienced with motorcycles. And this thing is a beast, okay? It's a beast. It will go. Don't fucking play with this. You drop the clutch and get into gear and pull back on that, you're going to take off. So your first time experiencing it, you I don't know, maybe you let it open a little too fully without realizing how powerful the vehicle was, and you got into an accident. Maybe you pulled back on the throttle and you were like, oh shit, and then you tightened on the handlebar, and now you're pulling more throttle and you're going even faster, and you don't even know what to do, and before you know it, you're hitting a wall or something. And then you're like, okay, yeah, that is not a toy. Now I know to respect that thing. So maybe some time passed, and maybe you practice on some lesser motorcycles. You practice on a little dirt bike or a little mini bike, and then maybe a little e-bike or something. And then you eventually, some time passes, you're a little more experienced, you're a little more aware. You still remember the time of the fall, the last time you were given the 0 to 200 mile per hour quick zoom bike, and you wrecked it into a wall in 0.5 seconds. It hurt yourself. You might remember that time, the time of the fall with that vehicle. But now you're coming back into it, and you've learned your way back up. You started from the basics, and you worked your way back up, and you're revisiting it, and you have memory of the fall, but you also have an experience, and you have a respect. You have an awareness. You have an awareness of it. You respect it. You respect the power the machine has. So now you hop on that bike and you do just fine. You do just fine. You handle it perfectly fine, like it's nothing. A much different experience than before. And I'm kind of getting, this is a really good way, or at least it seems like a decent attempt on my half to try to explain what I feel like the collective is experiencing with these DNA activations and upgrades. At one point in time, all of this was available to us, and we did fall, and then it got turned off. And then we've learned from the fall, and we've had to build ourselves back up. And now we're at a time where we've got a lot of these things being turned back on and becoming available to us. And it's up to us to make the right decision this time, to remember what happened during the fall and come in wiser with more, respect of the power that we have. And that if we abuse it or we don't respect it, we could experience another fall as a civilization. And I really love that I sense this like almost like unspoken, it doesn't need to be said. When you go into a room and everyone just understands, like, yeah, it doesn't need to be stated. That's known. I feel this from the collective, that there's like this unspoken understanding because have you ever learned a lesson so harshly, like that shit, like just remembering the lesson gives you chills? You're like, nah, I'm good. I ain't doing that again. I'm kind of getting that energy. Like it shook the collective consciousness kind of to the core. And we have a very strong imprint of that lesson on our minds. So I do feel like we're going to see a lot of things be done better this time around. And I see a healthier relationship with some of the technologies that will be produced or will be flooding the market or integrating with society. Like I just feel like we're doing things better, and we're doing things with a lot more maturity. And so it's going to be a more pleasant experience. The first time on that 0 to 200 bike, I don't know, you might have got shooken up after hopping off that thing after wrecking it into a wall within a second of dropping the clutch. But now that you're experienced and you're able to hand it, I don't know, maybe you zoomed around the world and you had a great time. It's going to be a different experience. And I feel like this also might have been connected to that message I had gotten in one of my recent readings about Spirit came through really strong and was like, hey, when this activation happens, don't freak out. You're okay. It's safe. And I had mentioned that when some of these things get turned on, it may come with a pocket of wound that needs to be addressed. So like, you ever forgotten about something until you're reminded of it, and then it's like you're right back in that moment again, like it just happened. It's kind of like that, but on a collective level, like something that we have kind of forgotten about, we're going to be reminded of it because we're going to remember exactly what this feels like, and this may trigger deep past life or collective wounds of, oh well, the last time I was able to do this, I was hunted, or the last time we destroyed ourselves, or whatever this is, it might come with that. But I think in that level, it's, as long as we overcome it, it's a reminder to respect it. It's like a permanent reminder of like, yeah, I need to respect this. Yeah, that reminded me of a few permanent reminders I've got in my life that always remind me of certain lessons. Yeah. All right. So this is what we're looking forward to as a collective. This is what this energy of March transformation is bringing. And then we've got this 10 of Pentacles, and this is like wide open fun. And what I mean by wide open fun, we've got this 10 of Pentacles and this Wheel of Fortune. All right. If I were to give you a skateboard and you've never been on a skateboard before, how much fun would you really have on it if you struggle to even keep your balance on it? If you struggle to even find your footing on it? You might not have that much fun with the skateboard. Now, does that mean you can't have fun with the skateboard? No. Does that mean you won't? No. It just means, as of right now, you're in a stage where you're having to learn how to even use the damn thing. But then you get to a point to where you're comfortable on the board. Who do you think is going to have more fun? Someone that is comfortable on the board, can find their balance, can shift their weight, and can do a few things with it. I'm not saying they're a pro, but they can do a few things, at least ride around, go down some hills, maybe do a little trick, enough to satisfy themselves. Or someone that doesn't even know how to use it, doesn't even know how to handle it, is still learning how to navigate the tool or the vehicle. That's why I'm like, it's wide open. It's fun now. Like before that, that dirt bike or that motorcycle might have been intimidating. Maybe you were still shooken up. You remember the last time you hopped on it and you got in an accident or something, but now it's fun. It's fun. You're doing jumps, you're running around, you're having fun, you're dropping it all the way down to the last gear. I mean, you're just tearing it up. There's no fear. There's no fear. It's just fun. I'm getting like that's something that we're gonna experience in life is this freedom, and this fun with this freedom. Like we're really going to enjoy having this freedom. And there may be like a little bit of like we might have to revisit a wound, you know. I don't know if any of you have ever really enjoyed something and then the thing you really enjoyed caused a trauma and then like you had to go back to it. So like, I don't know, let's say you really enjoyed horseback riding. And then there was one time the horse took a bad fall. You actually got hurt pretty bad. I mean, you were shooken up about it. You thought, you at least hesitated when you thought about getting back up on a horse after that. I'm getting this energy of there might be for some individuals that sense of like hesitation of like, do I really want to get back on this horse? And for some individuals, you might not understand why you're having that hesitation. So let's say in this life, you've never been on a horse and now you have an opportunity to go on this horse and you think you would love it. You think it'd be great. You don't know why you want to, but you really want to. But maybe in a past life, you have a trauma with it. So then all of a sudden you're met with this block, this hesitation, this fear, this anxiety. You're gulping. You're like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why all of a sudden I'm having fear or I'm having like a block. And it could be because of something you've experienced in another life. And this might be some kind of wound that a lot of individuals in the collective are going to have to work on their own, because it feels like for many of us, this is a collective wound. This is something we experience through rises and falls throughout the history of humanity on Earth. And we're at another point in time in Earth's history where we're very close to experiencing some things that weren't that pleasant the last time we did it. And there's like that level of, I at any moment could misstep and we could experience that thing that we really don't want to experience again. But I know that I'm being guided to go on this path again. Like I'm seeing one of those mountain passageways where you've got like 6 inches or a foot of rock to step on. And like, yeah, if you make the whole path up to the top of the mountain, it's great. You miss a step, not so great. Falling down a mountain ain't fucking fun. And it hurts, I'm sure, until it just is black, I guess. But so yeah, there is this energy of like, you might in varying levels of awareness experience a fear or like a hesitation or an anxiety about something, and you may or may not be aware of why or what this is coming from, but you still feel guided to go on the path. So you're on this mountain path, and maybe you reincarnated and you came back to the exact same mountain path where you slipped off the path and you fell and you died. And you don't have memory of this, but you're now back on that mountain path and you know you're being guided to go up the path, but you feel this uneasiness and you're not sure why. It's that subconscious block that's being removed and brought to the surface. So that may be something that's coming through. And I feel like that is the biggest obstacle. When that is overcome, it's nothing but freedom and fun. So there's like an illusion of fear or something that may need to be cleared. And that won't be for everyone. And it may happen at a surprising time, like when you don't expect it. And for those of you that have experienced PTSD trauma flashbacks out of nowhere, like you're in a safe environment and then all of a sudden it's like the trauma is live in your body again, then you might have a better understanding of what I'm talking about in this energy of how like sometimes it can just come out of nowhere. And there's no real reference point of why this is happening. So if that does happen, hopefully you had an opportunity to run by this reading and you got in the back of your mind that little seed of, oh, this is what's happening. I can grapple this. I can, I tackle this. Because if you're just being blindsided with the energy and it's really intense and you don't have any reference or any idea of what the fuck is going on, that could be a little more overwhelming than it needs to be. And I don't want it to be overwhelming, because ultimately I feel like this is exciting. This is breathtaking. This is refreshing. This is an upgrade to life, and an upgraded experience, an upgraded ability, an upgraded sense of self, or not sense of self, just an upgraded self, and then coming to a sense of that new upgraded self. So yeah, I'm really getting like, you're inheriting the world. The world is your oyster. Your body is changing in ways that scientists may be continuing to learn to understand in the future years. And it's like we are an innovation in humanity in itself, and we are the new evolution. And this is an exciting time to be alive. You are the forerunner of our new collective experience. And yeah, there may be some wounds that come to the surface as this happens, but it's okay. It's not going to be like last time. Last time you hopped on that bike, yeah, you pulled on the throttle and you tensed up and you rammed it into a wall. But hey, you remember that other bike? It was just like that one, and that didn't happen. So like, you're going to be okay. You may have fallen one time, but you're not going to fall this time. And I'm getting that, like, this level of reassurance of, you're ready for this now. I know you might have like a vague sense of, I feel like this has hurt me before, but it's not going to hurt you now. So like, yeah, like, I don't know if you've ever practiced for something and you've gotten really close to mastering it, and then you got an injury from it, and then like revisiting it after the injury is healed. There is like a little bit of like, you got to overcome that mental energy. There might be a mental block. That's what I'm getting. It's like a collective mental block with the new activation, with the new, and it's because there's a big trauma associated. Like, there were times where we were able to do some of these things and it wasn't the greatest of times. So that's what's going on. And it's not that you're on the wrong path or anything bad or wrong is happening. It's just you're healing a part of yourself that has been dormant for a long time. So yeah, other than that, this energy is great, and it seems like life is very exciting and fun and free, and there's like this liberation energy. And yeah, like I said, now you know how to use the vehicle a little bit. So you have more fun with the vehicle. You're not in the beginning stages where you're just learning how to, do the basics on it. Now you're intermediate. Now you can have a little more fun with it. You can put some more style into it. You could, pop up and do a trick, be adventurous with it. You weren't able to do that before, but you can now. And that in of itself is exciting, and it's new and it's fresh. I'm going to go ahead and leave this reading here. If you like the way that I read, please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. I will see you on the next collective message.